Hello, YouTube. This is SirAllAboutMusic. Obviously, this is me. This is my face. These are my videos. No one has replaced me, I promise. I kind of rushed through my up review because I thought I was on a time constraint, but I wasn't. So, I'm going to go nice and easy and relaxed with this review because, you know, I had a great day today. I got my my copy of Document back. I lent this to a friend of mine, and I got it back today, so I'll definitely be listening to that. And, you know, I just like listening to CDs more than stuff on the computer. I definitely think you get the power out of it more, and a great example of that is Rosa by the Pixies. Now, if you're into indie music, if you're really into indie music, you know the Pixies. You have to know the Pixies. You have to just stand in awe of the Pixies. Now, it's my personal belief that all people who are into indie should love the Pixies, but I'm not gonna be, you know, so uppity or egotistical about that. But the Pixies are definitely a very important indie band, a very, very important indie band. They had, I would say, they had just as much influence as R.E.M. They just didn't get the commercial success that they did deserve. They deserved attention. I don't know about commercial success, but they definitely deserved attention. So let's get into the album. Rosa was released in 1989, I believe. 88, excuse me, 88. It was released in 1988. These guys are from Boston. There was actually in the early 90s a really nice Boston scene. You had the Pixies, you had Belly, Throwing Muses was around the Boston area, and then out of the Pixies came the Breeders. I love the Breeders, love the Breeders. I'll be doing a review of Last Splash sometime soon, probably within the next week. And let's talk about this album. This album is its force. It doesn't have so much the balls, but that's not to say that it doesn't have, you know, strength. It's a powerful album without the kind of you know, testosterone driven kind of rock. This is like a quirky, weird kind of rock. It doesn't rely so much on big heavy riffs as it does on these kind of melodic, you know, quirky riffs like this one in Bone Machine. You know, that's just a weird riff. It's a really weird riff, and Kim Deal and Frank Black build these great harmonizing vocal melodies on top of these riffs. They do a great job of it. And you know, it's minimalism. This band was a minimalist band, and they did a great job of just bringing this kind of simplification to rock and roll. So yeah, the Pixies are awesome. But let's get into the actual album of Rosa. Originality. You know, I gotta give this one a 10. There's really the Pixies. A lot of the bands that were doing their own thing in the 80s are just, you know, they are unlike any other bands that were around at that time. Like I've said with R.E.M. before, and the Pixies were definitely one of those bands. So they get a 10 for originality on Rosa. How much I like the music, I give it. Let's refer to my new list. I give it a 9, and I will explain a 9 later. Production is good for the sound that this band has, and the sound that this album in particular has. Everything's well balanced. The bass isn't so much. It's Kim Deal is a great bass player. She's a genius bass player, and people don't realize that because she didn't try to fancify anything. She took a very minimalist approach to her bass playing. And while you can't really hear so much on this album like you hear on Gigantic, she wrote the song, but you know, it's there and it's supportive. I think that her bass could have been brought out a little more because she's a very important part of the band. But other than that, production is great, so I'm going to stick with a 9.5. Flow's good. I'm going to give that a 9 too. All the songs have a common kind of feel to them. There's no derivation from the theme, and they fit together really nicely. So I'm going to go with a 9 on that one. So yeah, a 9, according to my new books, is an album that I can listen to all the way through about one time, and then I move on to something else. And I don't get bored after I listen to it that one time either. So this is an album I can listen to through about one time, and then I'll move on to something else, or I'll move on to another Pixies album. There are songs on here that I can listen to over and over again, but the album as a whole, just about once. So yeah. If you're not, this album has "Where Is My Mind?" The Pixies' most well-known song. If you're not into the Pixies, this is a great place to start. Though I would start with their EP, their very first EP release, "Come On Pilgrim." Yeah, "Come On Pilgrim," because it's just got really a lot of strong songs on it. All their albums do. Their songwriting wasn't so consistent. They got some bad songs. They got some good songs. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say. My favorite song on here is "Bone Machine." It's got great breaks. It's got a great riff. The vocal harmonies are fantastic. Least favorite, I'm gonna have to go with "Where Is My Mind," and it's not because it's a bad song. It's just because I'm sick of listening to it. I've just listened to that song way too much. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Oh, by the way, this album was a request from user Blashevek. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Whatever. Sorry about that. Request. So send in more requests. I like doing requests because I never know what I'm gonna get. So yeah, this is SirAllAboutMusic. Leave a comment in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time.